I can now be like, oh, I'm swimming. This is nice for me now. So I'll take a step back and then I just go through some of the old files and stuff that we had. It's like, oh yeah, shit, these are the plans that we've had. These are the things that we're doing. Now, who am I? I always ask questions from a young child. I've always asked questions. Who am I? Well, for the last 7 years, I've been a partner.
Yeah.
I've been a duo.
Mm-hmm.
I've been, if I'm stupid, my conscience, who's my partner, will tell me that I'm stupid.
Yep.
You know that, innit?
100%. Yeah.
I lost my conscience.
Mm.
My conscience was literally killed.
Yeah.
So, father element's gone. No, sorry, the partner element's gone. Father element is no longer a problem. I'm no longer in survival mode there because it's just working now. Routine. Who am I? Again, I broke myself down. Remember, there's all these parts of me that I had to remove from myself and put in this box to make our dynamics work.
Yeah, because
That
it's like symbiosis. You kind of become an entity in
intensity
yourself.
together, I can now pull that box back out and be like, you know what? I like fashion. Oh, I like these different types of creative outputs. I like all of these things. And it's like, people have always said to me, oh, well, it's more recent, you're well put together, well rounded individual. I don't know, I'm just doing me, right? So then I sat down and thought, who do I want my son to be? Remember, I had the love letters that I was writing to my son to if something happened to me, this is what needs to happen. Now I'm at the point where I'm in sole control of my son in terms of who I want him to be as a person. Not what I want him to be as a person, that's his choice. Who I want him to be
Yeah,
as
the
a person.
kind of person.
Person,
he is. Yeah,
exactly, is my choice, right? So I want him to be a well-rounded individual. I want him to know multiple languages. I want him to be an international citizen. These are conversations that I had with my partner as well. So I'm now carrying our visions of our conversations that we had 7 years worth of who we want our son to be,
Yeah.
right? His name, Pharaoh, was decided before he was even born. We had the conversation maybe 3 years in. Our son's name was going to be, if he is a boy, it's Pharaoh Henley Beckford. If it's a girl, it's Takara Naomi Beckford. We already learned that. We already had that. So
Yeah.
when he was with whatever the sex was, we already knew the name. There ain't no argument for it. We don't
Yeah,
go
yeah.
through that. Do you see
Yeah,
what
it's
I mean?
preordained.
It's preordained,
Yeah.
exactly. So now I got he's Pharaoh, he's a leader, he's a young king. So then how do I grow him into being a king? Flip open the PDF forms of all the strategies and stuff that we were looking at, all these tool sets that we could optimize and use. I think at the time as well, just before all of that, I was doing music as
Yeah.
well, so I was putting out songs and stuff, and that was for another purpose as well. And it was like, you know what? In her honor, I want to launch this YouTube channel. I want to do this for her.
Yeah.
and and for me it's a proof of concept. Just doing the promo video for me was a proof of concept because I'm taking all of the developments and stuff that I learned from being in back office,
Right.
and like proof of concept. Just
And
do
the
something,
strategies you worked on with
put
Naomi.
it out, and these types of things. And then so, but what I did not, and what kind of spun me in that perspective is. So this is going back to last December. When I put the promo video up, it was picked up by Bella Niger straight away. So Bella Niger is a Nigerian wedding outlet, but it has, in terms of readerships, it's got 10 million followers, 10 million views.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so just it's massive. So if and I didn't know, it's a different world. I didn't know it existed, right? But it's kind of, if your wedding is worth speaking about, so if you're royalty, you're oil tycoons or whatever you are, and you got multi-million pound blown on the weddings, you're on Bella Niger. You have to have a certain caliber of
Right.
weddings to be in Bella Niger. Here's me, a solo father, picked up by its blog, stuff like this. People are now blowing up my line and stuff. I've already planned in my mind that no one's even gonna take a notice of what I'm doing from at least 3 months. Should just remain consistent for 3 months. I'm not looking at numbers. I'm not looking at all of these vanity things. I'm just trying to tell a narrative of what it's like to be a solo father, so I can also capsulate again the written stuff into a video-based thing. So now my son could see how I articulate
Right.
my nuances and my body actions and stuff like that. So still take him from what I'm doing. From written text into actually visuals, so he can go back, because sometimes you go back to like your Bebo account, you go back to your MySpace account. Yeah, look at that, showing our age. Yeah. They're going back to all of these different things, right? And we look at who we were when we were 15, 16 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is what I've now decided to do, that this YouTube channel is not only going to be me showing the world our narrative as a solo me as a solo father, but also it's a memorable it's like a photo album for my son to go through, and he could look back retrospectively of who he was, how his father raised him, and all these different types of things, still keeping the energy of his mother alive, but also adding value somewhere. There's loads of people that's come up to me. I was even at carnival. People's come up to me and be like, your story is so powerful,
Oh wow.
and it's inspired me, and it made me want to be a better father for my family. And I was like, he's like, he literally in carnival. For, I literally just came out of Notting Hill Gate, walked 2 minutes,
Yeah.
just trying to pop the alcohol, trying to get my vibe
Yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're just Beckford, and I'm like, huh? Like, I only got like 500 followers on my Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, he literally spoke to me about I was going through these problems with my missus and my child didn't know what to do, and just your story alone made me want to be a better man, made me want to be a better father,
Look at that.
and I was kind of lit, right, because of the alcohol. But I'm trying to get lit, and I'm like, thank you very much, my brother. What's your name? I think his name was Dave. Yeah, tall black guy, and I'm like, wow, and but at that same time again, while I'm hearing these heartfelt and things and stuff like that, which is great for like to say keep going, at the same time I'm now battling my demons on the other side of being now who the person I am, driving a nice car, living in a nice apartment. People now have access to YouTube so they can see my lifestyle. Family members that are going through the struggles or friends that are going through the struggles now look at me like I have money. They don't know my financial situations. So they're now doing the things where they now, asking me for money. Asking me for money and all these different types of stuff. And then I feel bad that I can't actually help you because I'm still trying to do the long game.
Right.
I'm not trying to give you the pound from the £10. I'm trying to make a business for you. My family, there's loads of like chefs in my family, like Caribbean,
Of
Caribbean
course. Yeah,
family.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to do something for you. I want you to open a Caribbean restaurant or something like that. These are like what plans in the future, things that you go through your mind.
It's about
And
timing, though.
exactly, right? So I
And
have.
just for context as well, at time of recording, how long after everything happened? How long has it
It
been?
was literally 6 months. So when I dropped the promo video, it was literally 6 months since my partner passed away, right? And then
So we're
that's
like just over a year.
what now where we are now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just over a year. Um, so June would have marked June that just went would mark a year since she passed away,
Wow.
and then December would be, I guess, coming to this December will be a year since the YouTube channel has come up. I had to stop the YouTube channel. The reason why I stopped the YouTube channel is not because it wasn't working, and not because I couldn't create the content. It was because I had to get my life in order. I had to get my mental state in order.
Of course, man. Like your life completely changed, and
Changed.
it sounds like after that moment you were set in a whirlwind because you've got your son there. You have to deal with the matter at hand, and you still have to work. You still have to go through this whole transition, and it doesn't even sound like you had a minute to
Myself.
to process what happened.
Certain family members, when she passed away, they stopped working and they had to go through that process.
Yeah.
And they went through that process.
Because
She
everyone
passed.
grieves
Everyone
differently.
grieves differently, and I would never fault anyone for that. But I had to put my son on my back. So she died on a Saturday. The Monday morning, I was back in work. They used to say, they're like, "Why are you here?" It's like, "Why are you here? Like, go home." I'm like, "No, I need to get this work. If I don't work, I'm on a day rate here. If I don't work, I don't
That's
get
a very
paid.
good point.
So if I'm working from home, I need
There's
to
no
know
sick pay.
There's no sick pay. There's no benefit. This is the risks you take, right?
Yeah,
So
this is the other side of being
exactly,
an entrepreneur.
an entrepreneur, you take those risks. So if I don't work, my son doesn't eat. That's what it is. If I don't
Jeez.
work, anything that I was maintaining, the preschool that was coming, I wouldn't be able to pay for. All these different elements of things I'm having. And then obviously now I'm changed environment. First time living by myself as well, like in terms of my own apartment, I get to choose and pick the furniture. Because before, you do it with the missus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Normally it's her picking the furniture and you
Yeah.
saying, yeah, okay, this one, at least this one is a bit kind of neutral. Do you know what I mean? All these different types of things, right? I have to deal with while raising a child, while dealing with that. And then obviously with the YouTube channel, I'm giving other people access to me. I'm pretty closed off as a person.
Mm.
No one knows what I do and who I am as a person. Well, before, and then it flipped and that. So that's now changed as well. Because when it comes to my family, as I said, when I was younger, I used to pop in, pop out.
Mm.
So it's always, oh, hi, hi, how you
Right,
doing?
right,
Da, da,
right.
da, da,
And
da,
now
da.
this door's open.
Now this door's open and they can, like right now, family members can see minute by minute or day by day what
What
I
you're
am
doing.
doing. Oh, I didn't know. And this, and that, and then, friends as well. And, so then I now have to get used to the energy. And then on top of that, there's now energy from strangers, both positive and negative
Yeah.
energy. So, why are you showing off with your new car for? Or you think you're
Mm.
the man. I'm driving around this car like depressed as, because this is not for me.
That was a gift.
It's a
30th
gift.
birthday
I'm
gift.
driving. I'm driving around a gift that's not for me.
But people wouldn't know that, man.
People won't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's living his best life. Oh yeah. When I look at the car, you look there, looking around. And but then I now had to realize that I had to then think of and understand what I am feeling, what I'm going through mentally, to then be a better person for my son. Because if I am depressed, if I am negative, if I am bringing that type of pain to him, it's gonna weigh on him. Those
For sure,
energies,
for
those
sure.
energies,
Being
and
that he's so young as well.
exactly.
Because
So
I mean, how did he take it all?
there was a there was a period in time when she passed away. Um, so we were in the hospital when she passed away. So she died at 6 something, and at first I didn't want him to go to see the body, right? But everyone was there and they were all going to see the body. We were grieving. We were saying, pass away. So this is her body's fresh, her body's cold, and because they pumped her body with so much fluid that they had to put a breathing thing into her because it flooded her lungs. And it just goes graphic, so I won't even go too far. And then I just said, you know what? My son needs to know that his mom is no longer around. Because I never want him to go through a period in life where he thinks, oh, maybe one day she would walk in back
Right.
into our lives or something like that. He's going to have his own trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
So I've always treated my son as an adult. So when I speak to him, it's adult conversation. I tell people, don't speak to him cuckoo gaga. It's adult. So when I took him to go see the body, I made him touch her. And he looked at me and he touched her. He went, because she was so cold to touch. He knows her best,
Of course. Of
because he's
course.
always there. He's always in her body, under her bosom. He heard her heartbeat from the inside. They're in sync. Do you know what I mean? So I had to let him know that mommy's passed away. And I've always been open. Mommy's not right. Mommy's in heaven. Mommy's in heaven? Yeah, mommy's up there. She's in heaven. Do you know? I've always done that because for one, I don't want to give that power to anybody else. So when he's in school, they can be like, oh, your mom's dead. And then
Right.
he goes through that aggression and stuff like that. He goes, yeah, I know my mom passed away.
Yeah.
I exactly know how she passed away. And you guys should be lucky that you have your parents because I know what it's like not to have. Do you know what I mean? That's what I've always trying to mitigate. So yeah,
But you made that decision
Yeah.
there and then.
there and then at that moment in time, while we're going through a tear, while I was crying.
Yeah, because you're dealing with it
crazy.
as a partner, first and foremost, and then as a father, and
Yeah.
then you're like,
Crazy.
how's he gonna do? Because he's 11 months.
He's 11 months old. He's been breastfed. That was his comfort. That's how you get to sleep. All these different types of stuff. So then when we went back home now, for the first month, it was so hard because he wouldn't go sleep without looking for his mum. So he would make me pick him up and he'll be pointing to rooms. So like when he did the first time, I'm like, what are you looking for? And then you're looking for your mum. So before we went to bed every night, I would get up with him. This is gonna make me cry.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
This is the bit that makes me cry. I would get up and I would have to walk through every single room and be like, "Mommy's gone. Mommy's in heaven." Do you know what I mean? And so wow, that was
So-
so painful. But
Sorry, can you get a tissue?
oh wow, cut this. No, I'm playing. No, I'm playing. And and to be fair, like
That's
that,
harrowing, man. That's
that's my tears. That's why I cry for. That's what I mourn for. I mourn for my son. I mourn for his like what he's going to go through, what he is currently going through, and what he had to go through. And I have my mum. My mum, me and my mum's relationship is amazing. My mum is like my best friend.
the
That's
same.
how. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I couldn't imagine it. Could
exactly,
not imagine it.
exactly. And while I was prepared for we're prepared for our parents for that because this event is inevitable, right?
Yeah.
Like, which is hard to say, but it's
Very. Yeah, yeah. I
inevitable.
don't even like to think about it.
Think about it. He never had the chance to even get to know his mum's personality. She can have the hand in raising him the way that she would want to.
Yeah.
So I'm now doing it for two people, which is another thing. So then, okay. So then, while I'm dealing with that and dealing with all of this and stuff, and then moving into a new place and then new things, and people now seeing new things, I've now realized I got to the point where there's survivor's remorse on me, right? Survivor's remorse is like I've now, quote unquote, made it out of my community because I'm living good,
Right.
quote unquote, whatever living good is in the metrics, living good compared
Compared to yeah, yeah.
to where I was, yeah, grew up in. All right. So then now I want to help my community even more. So flashback to,
Yes.
so it's all cycles,
All cycles. Yeah.
all cycles, and as it's now cycling, I got to the point now where I said, okay, I'm going for a point where I'm battling my demons. Women are now using my son as a leverage tool to get to know me because of whatever potential they may see in me.
Because of the vanity metrics.
Vanity metrics
Home,
or
car,
that element, that's one
father,
slice. Yeah,
professional.
that's one slice. That's another slice. Another slice is whatever it is. They could
Yeah.
find me attractive, whatever it is. I can never gauge this, right? But all of these elements are now. They're now attacking me. They're now saying, "Oh, your son's so cute. Oh, thank you. Da 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 da. Oh, I would like to go to the park with your son one day." What? I, so then I realize I'm in a space where my son's not a puppy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not going to go to a park. You pet my son, and then da 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 da, and then you get me where you have me, and then I'm now looking at because I was blocked away from the world of women for 7 years.
Right.
So
So
and women have
now everything's open.
now everything's open. I have no tool to safeguard me from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a woman, and whatever strategy that you may have in getting to know me or whatever. So I'm getting all of these impacts here and there and taking it in family, all this stuff, like everything just encompassing work life business because I'm a professional, I'm a thingy, and I'm just like, yo, I need to be ratchet right now. I just need to just throw a tantrum, stop the YouTube. I said I need to get my life in order, like my mental space in order.
Yeah.
I need to understand my value in this space.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, I haven't had the time to sit down to assess myself in this market. So I did something
To put it professionally.
to put it professionally. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's what I did. That's
Yeah,
now
yeah.
that's now my default because
Right.
that's the language that I
Yeah,
learned to
yeah,
speak.
yeah, yeah.
Put my name down on a piece of paper, and on the piece of paper I circled it, and I started to do a one like a BAMS, which is like business activity modeling and stuff, whatever.
Right.
So and I'm writing points. Da, 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 da. What's this? This is me here. This is me here. This is me here. These are the elements I have. What comes with this? What's the positive and negative? Doing a risk analysis on myself. I'm literally doing this on myself, right? Breaking myself down to the core. What's my weaknesses? Where's my vulnerabilities? What's my strengths? What am I doing? How am I allowing people access to me? Where all these different types of things just so I can get to know myself, right?
And is that like the first time you've done that? Like looked in the mirror like that
Like
in
ever.
years or ever?
Ever in my life, because I only had to do it in small pieces. I only had to do it as like me as a black guy in a white environment.
Yeah.
Me as a this and this and that. Me
Right,
as a
right,
male
right.
here. I had to sit down. I literally sat down and said, right, I need to know who I am and how I'm seen by everyone else, right? So I did that. I wrote it down, and it's a case of you can say there's a bit of narcissism in there, right? Because there's things of myself that's going to my ego is going to be inflated here. Do you know what I mean? I am a young black man, professional that raised his sons well. I'm said that I'm good looking, apparently, but I don't really care about that.
Right.
I now have money. I drive a nice car. I live in a nice apartment. I have great conversations with you because I've always been taught to ask questions.
Right.
So, and my job is very people centric. So I have to learn to ask people questions and build relationships. And because I moved around as a younger child as well, I had to learn to build relationships
And adapt.
and
Yeah.
adapt and be more adaptable and all these different types of things. So I can now be in an environment with a woman and talk to her and calculate all the points that she's calculating about me and the conversation about me, and then the power dynamics come into play because now I know my value and worth. The power dynamics comes into
Right.
play. Your entitlement as a woman towards me as a man, that you know that if you're interested in me, then by default I should be interested in you
Right.
because it's a privilege for me to be interested in you, right? So you would then talk your things because as a woman, and then I can be like, oh no, no, no. I didn't have that wall before, so now I'm bringing that wall myself because my partner was that wall. Sorry, I'm in a relationship.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in love with someone else. Sorry, I can't entertain you right now. Sorry, this is that. These
And
are
that was the message.
that was the message.
Yeah.
Now, with women, it's I don't have an excuse, so I won't break their image that they see of themselves, right? Because you're a woman, you're looking at me as a man. I should want you, because that's every guy that you've ever approached and got. You get your guy. You always get the guy, right? So, but I can't say to you, sorry, I've got a partner, so you can keep the image of yourself,
Right.
because it's not because it's me, it's because he has a partner, right? So now it's like, oh, sorry, I'm not interested. Why are you not interested? Anything I say from this point, I'm breaking your ego. I'm shattering your ego, setting your self image. I'm now telling you that you're not worthy. But that's not what I'm saying to you.
No.
Because what it is that at this moment in time, I'm working on myself. I'm not interested in women. The love of my life passed away. Someone that I've grew up with 7 years. This is
Yeah.
not about you as a woman. It's about me as a man, as a person that's trying to heal. But I'm getting these, you're throwing water over me. You want to fight me because I've rejected you, not because of
Or that
you.
you chose yourself.
Because there you go. That's a
Yeah.
better way. Because I chose myself, but which turns out to be rejection to you. Rejection you're not used to. And then why wouldn't he want me? Yeah, why wouldn't I? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Why
yeah.
wouldn't I?
But
Then
it
now
doesn't have to be that conversation because
we can
it's-
get into that
there is.
conversation.
Yeah, you could, but it's
But now
the
it's
reason is I am not interested.
the reason is I'm not interested. But
Yeah,
why?
yeah.
But then you go back. Why are you not interested?
Yeah.
Now you've been made insecure. You made yourself insecure because you asked me a question that if I now ask you the question, answer the question to you, I can lie to you and say that uh, I'm not. I'm seeing someone right now. I could be like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Oh, so
yeah.
why are we here? You just wasted my time. It's a tricky landscape.
Very.
And I'm always going to be the villain in that story. So let me amplify the villain for a minute. So in my environment, as I amplify the villain, I've now created a barrier around me, a boundary around me that women will no longer approach me because they know that they might be rejected. Instantly safeguard myself.
But how have you done that then?
Social media,
Oh, right.
and all these different other
Just-
elements,
right.
different elements.
Got
So it's not my this social media. This
I
account is
understand. So the way that people would get in usually is the language and whatever the messages you put out is like,
Yeah.
okay, look,
Yeah.
this is what the deal is.
So now
That's a way of you protecting yourself.
now so the air of arrogance is off-putting. This is what I thought. But then it opened up another door that there is women that, through the power dynamics, would want to break down an arrogant man. So while this wave of this woman has
Well, you closed off that door.
door, this new door's open, it's back door's open.
Wasn't expecting
Where are
that,
you
yeah.
coming from? I'm being toxic, masculinity on 100.
Yeah.
But you like it.
As a strategy.
As a strategy to safeguard
protect yourself.
myself. Just to safeguard myself. But also, there's a, from Fitzroy, I can never pronounce his name, and there's a quote that I use a lot, yeah, beware when fighting monsters that you yourself become a monster. As you stare into the abyss also stares into you. So while you are battling your monsters and you're fighting, so why I am building this toxic masculinity
Yeah.
to get rid of the toxic people around me it's also, if I don't realize that I'm doing this, I would then become the monster that I am trying to fight. I would then become the epitome of toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So while I'm using it as a safety tool, it
You're
then becomes
becoming.
my default.
Mm.
So then now I need to scale back on that now, because, which means that now the doors are going to be open on both sides, right?
Yeah.
So I'm stuck.
So you're back to the who am I?
Who am I? So then I focus on things that I like to do and things that I want to do. I like fashion. I wanted to study fashion at college and stuff like that. But at that moment in time, I thought, people might say I'm gay. I like fashion. I'm wearing
Yeah.
pink right now.
Yeah.
You, this is, I shouldn't be wearing pink as a black man raised in whatever environment. They're looking at
From
me.
especially from our era.
From our era. Do you get
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Unless you're Cameron,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
pink fur. But he was validated because he was known in his hood. He was just a sweet boy or whatever it was. That was like really like no one tested. But that's another thing as well. Because I've my YouTube channel and I'm showing more vulnerabilities to me and I'm showing more emotional side as a man, my emotional intelligence at different elements, because I needed to learn this because I want my son to be emotionally intelligent, then men are now challenging me because he talks too much about his feelings. Who is this? This guy's now who's him? I'm gonna punch him up.
Yeah. I've had that my whole life.
There you go. So you're gonna be challenged.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're emotionally aware. What? And that's because they're not emotionally aware. They don't know how to unpack their own emotions because of what traumas or whatever they've gone through in life.
Yeah.
That they weren't given that safe space to do so. I've created my own safe space. Now I have to deal with you. So no, this is not just a woman thing now. This is a people thing now, because men are now challenging me because I'm doing things that flip the narrative of what it is to quote unquote be a man. Talk about my feelings, emotions, and all these different
Yep.
elements.
Yep.
Women see whatever they see about me in terms of metrics and shit. Sorry for the language, yeah. I'm getting that attack now. And so now I now have to like do the bravado thing to man them. Have I even find time to even define myself yet?
Right.
Because I'm firefighting left, right. And I haven't even spoke about my son. I haven't talked about the child development, me waking up early mornings and going through his alphabet, his numbers and stuff. He's 2 now. He can count to 20. 2. There's kids that are now 3 that can't count to 20.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which is, I'm not trying to compare, but I'm saying this is the whole family
This is what you're dealing with. Right.
You know, so just being a father and raising my child and developing him, making sure that he knows things, making sure that he's polite, making sure that he doesn't get everything. And then at the same time, people are buying things for my son. Because,
Mixed messages.
He's buying things for my son.
I saw you. I saw you say something about people need to stop giving my son sugar.
Sugar sweets, cakes, all these different types of stuff, because those refined sugars are not the sugars that we had back in the day now. It's damaging his teeth. Grandparents are not listening. Family members are not listening. They know how to raise my child better than me. So then that's when the arrogant and me, like the thingy in me now to come and like, oh, you're telling me how to raise my child. You raise him then. Do you know what I mean? Oh,
Right.
am I not the parent here? Would you like to take the full responsibility of raising my child? No.
Well, that, and plus you kind of got to speak up for Naomi as well.
Exactly. And her wishes. And she is more militant than me. She would be cussing cake. What are you giving my son cakes for?
Right.
She would have been militant on it. So
Have you experienced what's the term? If Naomi was still around, do you reckon that people would have respected her wishes more about raising Pharaoh than
but it's,
yours?
so okay, this is a so I had a conversation with myself. So 6 months after she passed away, I went to the graveyard. No, yeah, I went to a graveyard. I sat down there and I said, because we were such a small unit, it was
Yeah.
me and her. And at the time, I was arguing with my mum because of our lifestyle choices. It was not familiar to my mum because we're moving into a different world. We're scaling back to move forward. So there's certain things I was doing and that I had to stop doing for my family, for my mum, my dad, all these different type of family members that I would do, that I now have to focus on my immediate family, me, my partner and son.
Yes.
So it created conflict between me and my mum then. So me and my mum stopped speaking. So when Naomi died, me and my mum went speaking for a couple of months.
Oh wow.
So that was a thing there. So we would have been a very small unit, right? That would go to family events and stuff, and we would have moved as a unit.
Mm.
So we weren't. I guess we have both have massive families. We would be around family, but it would have been in a very clustered way, right? So that now led me to two questions because I always ask myself these questions. So I sat back on the grave and I said to her, if you was still alive, would Pharaoh be who Pharaoh is today? Would he have the same personality? Would he have the same charisma? Would he be able to talk and engage with people the same way? Because he goes to my mum's on the weekend, so he's now exposed to her life, my family side of the family, church, different elements. And other weekends, he goes to his other grandparents, so he's exposed to their life and all these other things. And he's not around me. He's not around me, so he creates his independence of himself to function, and he can move between these crowds independently. Would he be the same person that he is now if he was still alive?
Probably not.
And if I had the choice of you coming back to life and him not being who he is today, would I take that choice? The person that I fell in love with, my son, who I fall in love with more and more every single day, just because of just his fearlessness and his just adaptability and his development. This is now never, and you see my eyes are welling up again.
Yeah.
Would I bring back the love of my life into this world, knowing that it could risk my son not being who my son is today? He may have still been the child that he is today, but would I risk that?
It's deep, man.
These are questions I have to ask myself.
Yeah.
And inevitably, the question, the answer that I had to say is, well, there's no, I don't have a choice anyway because I can't bring you back to life. But inevitably, if I had the choice, I had to make it would be no. Would If my son is not who my son is today, if you were around, would I want it? No.
Do you think that that was in part a way of you kind of
Settling and everything,
getting closure on that though?
closure on everything.
Because I think either way you would have been in as in love with your son. Either way.
Either way, I would be as loving my son. But if my son, so this goes back to the Aston Kutcher movie,
Aston-
movie, the Butterfly
Aston
Effect,
Kutcher. Yeah.
Butterfly Effect.
Yes.
When he would go through his diaries and then he would go back into past, he would change a slight thing,
Yeah.
and the impact is colossal.
Right.
So if I could do that, go back to this moment and we went private and then this never happened, would he grow up to be who he is? Or would he been a very timid child? Would he been in the same loving environment? We don't know what would have happened. We could have gone into business and the business could have crushed us in terms of like we make
And then put strain on
put a strain
relationship.
on a relationship.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
could end up being solo co-parenting parents. We could have been toxic to each other. It could all of that energy could have sat onto my son, and it could have been a very like he could have ended up being a sadistic. He could ended up being the disrupted child. He could end up being me when I was younger. Would I just and I put this that I passed all of this down.
Yeah.
Would I risk that? No. And as I said that to myself, I found closure in that situation. But and because I found closure in that situation, that made me feel whole again. Because I felt empty for such a long time.
Yeah, of course. Do you think that, I know it's probably going a bit ethereal now,
Yeah.
but that could have been like, maybe that's something that she would have asked you had she, had,
If it
know,
was
the,
the
the
other-
conversations that you used to have, like maybe that's something that could have come from her to kind of give you closure.
To- but so this is I don't know how to answer that question. But I'm gonna try in terms of. So while I was not I grew up in a Christian household. I believed in spirits and stuff like that, and like the Holy Ghost and all these elements. I went through a period of being in the real world and working that my religion, I I removed myself
Yeah.
from it, And then I learned other religions,
Mm.
and I fell in love with different concepts of different religions. And then I scale everything down to a premise of just being good to people, because
Yeah.
that's what most religions are.
Hmm.
So I'm no longer religious, I'm more of a spiritual
Spiritual.
person.
Yeah.
So now it's gone to the point now that I'm spiritual. So the conversation when I was there, so it wasn't 6 months in, it was literally a year after she passed away.
So just this June, just gone.
It's a
Wow.
year after she passed away, sorry. I sat down at her grave and I said, if the question that I said,
Yeah.
and I felt like the answer that I got was the answer that her spirit gave me.
Mm.
No. So let me just run with this. Let
Yeah.
me do this and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Let me just be here. I feel whole now. And I'm
Getting
I
goosebumps, man.
sorry. I'm happy in myself. I don't like using the word happy.
Mm.
The reason why I don't like using the word happy is because the first time I used the word happy, when me and her lived together, moved together, and we was doing our business, my brother died due to knife crime. So my younger brother, he was killed by a friend in in our state, and I went through all of that. We broke up for a bit. Me and my missus, we got back together, stuff like that. And then 4 years later, my partner died. When I got to the point of us being happy,
Yeah.
so I don't like using the word happy. So now, fast forward a year and a bit now, and having that conversation, I felt whole again. I felt happy. I don't like that, but so I try not to say the word, but
Yeah.
I radiate that energy. And while I'm still figuring out myself in terms of who I want to be in this world, yeah, not who I am. I know who I am. I'm very confident in who I am. It's like who I want to be in this world.
Mm.
Do I want to be a person that takes or someone that adds value to the words? Do I want to be someone that opens up the doors for conversations and knowing that people are going to hate me for it? Or do I want to be a person that sits back and be timid in the
Mm.
world? And then I look at myself and like, how does that look to my son? That his father just gave up. His father has all these ideas and his things, and his mother had all these ideas and his things, and his father just gave up. I don't want that to be on there. And I look at my son's fearlessness, his confidence, his abilities to walk into every room due to whatever happened,
Yeah.
the impact. And then now I'm learning from my son. He's now my inspiration. He's now my role model. If he's fearless as a child, learning and developing and growing and getting into any rooms that possible, like physical rooms, then I should be able to get into these rooms. There should be no room that I should not be getting. There should be no conversation had that I shouldn't be able to learn like a child, be destructive and have tantrums like a child,
Mm.
and learn it at such a hyper, like, inf- way that I shouldn't be able to get into these rooms.
Mm.
So now my son is like my father now.
Wow.
Do you see what I mean? Because he's now teaching me. He doesn't know it.
Yeah.
He's now teaching me things. So and because I don't have that fear, now when I'm in these boardrooms and having these conversations with these guys, and I can leverage my body, my build against what they might feel that the stereotype of is of me and stuff like that. I have no fear. There's nothing that they can say to me that I'd be fearful of.
Mm.
There's nothing. So, what is it like to sit in the room with a guy that you grew up to fear all your life, as a black guy that would stab you and all these and rob you and steal from you and stuff, that can speak your language, that understands exactly what you're saying, that can actually give you strategy and stuff to better your business in life, and like that doesn't care what your responses are, your impact? What does that do to you as a person, and then what does that do to me as a person?
Mm.
Who's the winner here?
It disarms, doesn't it?
So I can be in any room with any person. I can walk through like my son and I can learn, and I will be able to be the most powerful person that I can be for myself and actualize myself
Yeah.
as I'm actualizing my son. And I'm going to document this along the way for him.
And you're doing it now.
And I'm doing it now. This
You're
podcast.
doing it now,
A high five.
bro.
Let's hit it.
Man, look, the whole thread from what I'm hearing, and I'm hearing this for the first time, and
Yeah.
I'm so touched and honored that you'd even be so open with me. I mean, like, this is the first time we physically met.
Met. Yeah, I know. I know.
You know, and y- like you were saying, like the guy that come up to you in Notting Hill, man, and said how much that helped him. I think this and everything you're doing and everything going forward is going to help so many people. And your thread and your mission being like you're documenting this for your son primarily. But what that does for sons, males, and our community,
fathers as well.
fathers.
And there's a whole nother side of it that I didn't realize. And sorry to
That's
cut you off
gone.
as well. Recently, one of my cousins passed away. She had a battle with cancer for several years,
Mm.
and she lost the battle. And she left three kids, 21-year-old girl and two little boys. And so it's my second cousin. And every time I saw her, she's like, I've been watching your YouTube channel, I really like your videos. I really like your videos. And I was like, oh, thank you, cuz. Like that. Like, not really. Because obviously people say, oh, I like your YouTube channel. I like it. I've been watching
Yeah,
it and
yeah.
stuff like that. And then when my cousin passed away, I sat down and I looked at her dynamic. A mother left three kids. When you, and if you, like anyone that goes through cancer, anyone that's like dealing with a family member that goes through cancer, you're mourning at that person while they're still alive.
Mm.
That's essentially that's what it is.
Yeah.
You are mourning, and then till you hear good news, you stop mourning because life is good again, and then
Right.
bad news, and then so you go through that. And because this is what it is, right? You go through the stages, and it's very painful because you're actually living it through and throughout. You can't close it because you see it as a reminder constantly, daily. But I didn't think that her watching my YouTube channel, and this is what I think. I don't know. I haven't confirmed it with her 100%, but I had to sit back and think maybe my YouTube channel was preparing her to be the child, to be Pharaoh.
Mm.
So there's that whole other element as well. So while we got the parent perspective, there's
Yeah.
the whole child perspective. There are kids right now that are Pharaoh. In fact, that are worse off than Pharaoh.
Yeah.
And I don't like using that worse off, but like in the
Mm-mm.
spectrum of things. Because while Pharaoh's lost one parent, he has a big family and he has a father. There are literally orphans out there with no parents, no family, no understanding of who they are. They had to create their self, their culture, everything from the ground up, from a baby, going from different homes and all these different types of things and not knowing who they are as a person. This now is a part of their narrative. And I didn't see that. And it goes far beyond me as a person. There's so much, and you know what's so crazy? And I think this is gonna be maybe like the last story I wanna tell. I came back from a night out. I don't know where I was. I was lit. I was doing my toxic masculinity stuff. I'm
Mm-mm.
dressed and I'm looking. And that night, I just said, you know what, guys, I'm just gonna go home. So I called an Uber. I just wanted to go home, and this guy picks me up. And we're driving. He's like, "Oh, good evening, sir. How you doing?" I said, "I'm alright. I don't really talk to Uber drivers. Not because I don't want to speak to them or stuff like that. It's because I like silence and I just like to be in my mind. I'm a very analytical person."
Mm.
And he's like, "Oh, so tell me what you do." And I said, I told him what I do and stuff like that. So I asked him what he does as well, thinking he's just an Uber driver,
Right.
like disregarding anything that he could be else in life, right? And because at that time I didn't really want to have the conversation. And he's like, "Oh, my day job is I'm a paramedic." I
Wow.
sit up
Really.
now. "Oh, okay. You're a paramedic. So you're a paramedic during the day." My mom works in the NHS and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
So that's long shifts. She goes, "Yeah, I'm a paramedic. I do like between 10 to 11 hour shifts a day and stuff, and then I do Uber at
That's
nights."
crazy.
So I was like, "Oh, why are you doing it? Why are you working so much and so hard? Why are you Ubering at night?" And he was like, "I just need to make money." So I was like, "Oh, okay, fair enough." And then I was like, "Why do you need to make money?" And he's like, "I don't want to put a down on your night, sir. You look like you had a great night. I don't want to put a light down on your night." It's fucked up. No, like, talk to me. It's like, recently my partner passed away and left me with a 5-month-old child to raise, a little girl, Isabella, and I'm working two jobs to support her life. I have no family. I have one sister. She lives in a different country and she has her own life. I'm here in the UK by myself. So I said, "So who's looking after your child during the day?" He's like, "I pay a nanny, and that's the reason why I'm working now." So in order for me to go work during the day, I have to work in the night to pay a nanny to look after my child during the day. And I'm sitting in the back of the Uber like, yo, this is God sent. Because at that same time, that
Completely.
same week, I said to my mum on the phone, I don't want to do this YouTube thing no more. I don't like people having access to my life. I don't like people knowing about me, knowing my story, knowing how to leverage it to me. Women being able to come at me in a way, men be able to come at me in a way. And my mum was telling me about, you need to do it because you're helping people.
Right.
And then he said what he said. And I was like, I said, Sarah, I got a YouTube channel. I'm in I'm not in the same space as you. I said, um, in my dynamic, I have a big family, so they can help as a support system. But I understand what you feel. I lost my partner, and I explained the story, and the whole journey home we were talking. And when he got to my front door, when we got to the front door, we come out the car. He's like, "Sir," he's like, "Thank you very much." And I said to him, one of the things that I said to him, and I said, "My son is now 2. My partner died when he was 11 months old. Your daughter's 5 months old. It gets easier. The older and older the child becomes, the more they grow up, the more independence that they have in themselves, you now see the light in the tunnel. I said it was when my son turned 2 and he was like moving around and doing stuff. That's when I really felt like, oh, he's independent. You know, he could get his jacket, he can take his shoes off, all these different types of stuff. He can say yes or no, he can articulate. I said the problem that you have right now is that you have to communicate with a child that doesn't know how to communicate with you in the way that you're used to.
Yeah.
So you have to feel the child. You have to use all of these instinctive things that we have now. Is she hungry? I don't know. Pharaoh can say to me, Daddy, I want a banana. I want porridge. I don't want chips. I don't want fish.
Mm.
It's easier for me to, oh, you want porridge? I'll give you porridge
Right.
every day. You don't know what your daughter wants. Only though you know that she could be hungry. She could be feeling cold. She could have wet herself. There's so much stuff. So you have to go through like a deletion process of what it may be
Mm.
until she sells. So I said, it gets easier. And he said, thank you, sir. He's like, one last thing. This might seem a bit unprofessional right now, but could I give you a bro hug? And I said, bro, bring it in. I said, bring it in. And we was outside my house, 2:30 a.m. My house, like, there's like a little alleyway to go into
Yeah.
my house. 2 grown men just hugging, bro. And I,
Someone who was a stranger before,
stranger, complete stranger,
brought together by the same
same
grief and experience.
experience and experience. And so I said, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna relaunch this YouTube channel. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to make sure that this message gets out in any format. It needs to be fun. I need to touch on the multifaceted nature of myself. I'm literally showing you me creating me to better my son so he can create himself.
Yeah.
So other people can see everything and stuff like that. I'm
Mm.
gonna have my bad times, I'm gonna have my great times. I'm going to be unfiltered. You're gonna see my good days and bad days because it would be unjust if I didn't.
Absolutely, man. And look how much has helped. Even the guy didn't see your YouTube channel, but he connected with your
He's
story.
now followed me on YouTube.
There you go.
He's not following me on YouTube.
There
He
you
was
go.
because one thing he did say is like, in order to feed my daughter, I go on YouTube, I watch all of these videos and
Yeah,
see what
yeah.
the parenting stuff.
Right.
And I was like, oh wow, people actually do that. They
Mm.
actually what to feed your child because it's actually quite hard to, especially if you're going through it. I know the process, the survival mode he's going through, and he's got it.
Mm.
He's got it at a different, much more pressure on him because he
Yeah.
doesn't have the same support system.
Yeah.
So while he's not working and working to work to support his child, he's then working to figure out how to be a parent to his child. That's crazy
While doing 2 jobs.
while doing 2 jobs. He's working a job so he can work the. Do you know how crazy
He's
that
working
is?
a job to work a job.
Job, yeah, he's working a job to pay for him to work a job. That's crazy. As a cycle, that's crazy. As a burnout, that's crazy. But as a person, this shows the level of power and grit and perseverance that we have as the love.
Mm.
And I said, your love will drive you through this.
Yeah.
Hour sleep, 2 hours sleep, 3 hours sleep, you crash out in the corner, you thingy, you're back in it. You're gonna be the best paramedic you need to be in your life. You're gonna be there, Uber driver, you're gonna connect with people. There's gonna be a person there in Uber that's actually going to change your life. You're gonna have this conversation with someone and they're gonna help you. Bro, I don't tip Uber drivers. I tip the crap out of him.
Yeah, yeah, of
Cause
course.
you know, cause I had to, because
Mm.
it's like I connected and I wanted him to do better. Do you see what I'm saying? To be better and everything. And it's like, all right, cool, I need to go hard at this.
Right.
And the first thing I did was I said, you know what? How do I manage my life right now? I got so much shit happening in my life right now. How do I
Mm.
need to manage? Let me suck it up.
Right.
Let me. I called Sasha. Sasha's my manager. Call Sasha. I said, Sasha, these are the things that you just need to take from me. She said, all right, cool. And Sasha's very reserved in how she handles me. I said, Sasha, you need to be hard on me. If there's a day that I said, oh no, we're not going to do this today, you're going to say, why not? No, or no, we're
Mm.
doing it. It's in the schedule. We need to do it.
Mm.
So I told her off. And now she tells me off all the time. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's good, but it's for the
It's for the
high.
betterment of
There
what
you
we're
go.
doing, because
Yeah.
it's not about us. It's not the vanity about what we're doing.
Mm.
It's not about the social media. It's not about the brands, the likes, whatever financial remuneration that you can get from it. It's literally about the story. It's literally about the story. I have a goal for my manager, what I want her to be able to gain. I have a goal for me, and I openly tell her my goal. I openly tell her my goal for her, and my goal for my son. Yeah, and my goal for my son is to be worth a certain amount by a certain amount of time, because he's got life did him wrong.
Mm.
Do you know? He's
Mhm.
got a hard time. So I want him to be a certain level comfortable. I want him to
Right.
live a certain level of lifestyle. I want him to not know the struggle that his father's did. I'm not middle class because I'm connected to the two worlds. You can be. You are. So everything I'm doing now is to raise everything like that. And it's not about me. And I don't really care left as people see things on me and they hate me because of it. Because when they meet me, they're gonna see that I'm genuine. They're gonna see that I'm a real person and I
Mhm.
go through things,
Mhm.
and I would open up and I would talk to you, and I'm not shallow or a shell of myself and not know who I am. And for some people, they might dislike it because it now challenges them to think who they are for themselves. And then that's a battle internal lead to them, right?
Yeah.
Who am
But
I?
maybe that's what you're here to do, to challenge that, to challenge people's conceptions and
Of self and
yeah, exactly. And live by example, because
mm,
you were handed these cards and you kind of had to just to deal with it and
exactly.
to go through that experience and turn it into something that can be positive and can be inspirational, you
Exactly.
know, for people.
And
So,
that's the thing. And my mom's like, this is your blessing. She's like, in the worst
you know,
way.
yeah, exactly.
In the worst way. This is your blessing. This is your message. This is something that you have to take to the world, and you have the narrative and the impacts you have to take. And I look at every single similar person that had to change and shift something in life, back in history and back in future. So I like, obviously, I love the Egyptian. My son's name Pharaoh, even
Mm.
though Pharaoh's a European name, but there's a pharaoh called Anunnaki, and he is the father of Tutankhamun. Nefertiti was his wife, and he believed in Ra, the sun god, and he changed the mythology, the deities of. He made Ra, him as the manifestation of Ra, the actual religion of Egypt across the land. So they were worshiping different types of gods, different types of pagan gods and all these different whatever you want to call it, right? And he reinforced this particular god into his society, and as he reinforced this particular type of god into his society, he was rejected for it. So they killed him for it. He was killed because he implemented change too much.
Mm.
And then you look, and that's a similar story to Jesus.
Yeah.
He was implementing this story, and he was crucified for implementing this story. So I am now taking these small nuggets of history because history always repeats itself.
Mm.
And you know what? If I want to lead change, I don't change things too much. I might open a door for someone else to take it, and I'm happy with that. I can open the door of what it is to be a vulnerable black guy that was raised in inner South London around gang culture and stuff like that, moving to middle class demographics and now fighting through all his life and stuff. I can open the doors to that, but being happy enough to let someone else run with it.
Yeah.
I can open the doors to finance threads and stuff like that and let other people capitalize on it on the timeline because I've given them that thought process. Because now there's loads of people talking on the timeline about finance.
Mm.
There's no one doing it when I started.
Yeah, they weren't.
There was
They weren't.
no one. But I'm glad that there are now people that are they might have saw the thread, they might not. This is down to whatever I want it to like because there's no confirmation. But they could have seen it in passing. But even that spark of them wanting to speak about finance to now be a figurehead in the black community for finance, good on you. That's the conversations I want. So you can better us as a person. I can't do this by myself as I open this about, about being a solo parent as a black man
Yeah.
now, there's other black men that are solo parents that they can come through the woodwork and they can talk. I've met quite a few of them and they've now on media outlets and stuff. We're winning. Because these doors are now being opened even more. I'm getting confidence from you, you're getting confidence from me,
Yeah.
so on and so
It's
forth.
not just about
It's not
me.
me.
It's not just
I
about me. It's about us.
Exactly. I cannot care less about me.
Mm.
I have my own demons and battles that I need to fight, whatever I need to do and stuff like that. But in order to move our society forward, I need to know what pieces to let people run with and go, what I can keep and whatever. And if I look at myself as a client to myself and I was going to place myself in a term of strategy to thingy, I know that I have my USP, right? And that's my USP. And this is the business talk, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But we have to know these things. So therefore, by we knowing this, we can, because we know ourselves, we should never, ever, ever hate anyone else that's winning.
Mm.
I love it. I love all these new podcasts. I love all this innovation. I love all anything that everyone's doing. I am in it as it's changing the narrative of who we are. I love it. I love it. I'm all for it.
Mm.
If I start it or if I don't start it, if I jump in it and then push it forward, I jump back out, do something else. Just the fact that the thought process is there for a 10-year-old or 8-year-old or 2-year-old or a 29-year-old or 45 years. I have finance and conversations with people that are 50 that lived life, that seen how the economy has changed. And they're like, how do you know this stuff? And I said, oh, I just research.
Mm.
Look through the history of stuff. Read books like Boom and Bust, The Cycle of Finance, and all these things. And I'll push this out there. And everything I'm saying, I want people to research this.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Because it's not about me, it's about the betterment of us as people. But also, I need to be careful that I can't force an agenda too much.
No, no. I mean, you can only signpost. And based off of your experience, you can only drop nuggets where you
Where you
can.
can.
And like you said, if that gives permission for other people to then speak up and tell their stories, or connect with your story,
Yeah.
or look into other people's, then that's all. That's all perfect. That's all
That's all.
because it's all about it's us. You said something when you was talking to the guy in the cab, and you said your love.
Your love will drive you through this. Your
Yeah.
love. Love is the most powerful energy that we have.
Yeah.
There's two energies that we have. And I learned this from watching The Green Lantern.
Oh yeah.
There's the Green Lantern core, and then there's the other one, which is the Yellow Lantern. This is so crazy. Love and fear.
Love and fear.
Love is more powerful than fear.
Mm.
Fear is crippling. There are people that won't leave their house due to fear.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that can't get on planes, that they won't take jobs, they won't even.
It's paralyzing. It's crippling. Like
It's
you said.
crippling. Fear. Those are the two balances of life, right? There's love and hate, but there's love and fear. You see what I mean? And then I look at things like balance and yin yang and Tao and all these different types of, the seven chakras. And as I go through cultures and I see all of these patterns of about balance, and I look at love and I look at fear. If fear doesn't drive you, fear drives me. Because it's my fear that I don't become who I need to become for my son. That drives me. But also, it's my love of my son that drives me. So I'm not going to ever deny the two. Innit? Fear of actualizing myself, of me not becoming who I visualize myself, is one of my biggest driving forces. I've weaponized it to be a positive for me. But love is even more powerful. love for this guy is even more powerful. But there's a fear. There's a fear that while he's driving his Uber and he's being a paramedic, he might there's sometimes he might not make ends meet for his daughter. But the love in that fear is driving him forward. So you can use both. Again, you
It's
can
how you
leverage
use
it.
it.
You can leverage it
It's how you
exactly.
use it, and
Because love is also crippling as well.
yeah, it can be. Yeah, it can be. It's how you use it,
It's how you use
and
it. Yeah.
that's pretty much the essence of this conversation. Is how you've used it. It could have crippled you
Yeah.
completely. I mean, anyone that's kind of gone through that or imagine going through that,
Yeah.
I just don't know what I would do personally. But you've chosen to take the side of love and to use it to elevate others, and
And
kudos to
everything.
you, man.
Thank you, my
Kudos.
brother.
Where can people
Find
reach
me.
out to you if they wanted to?
So on Twitter, in which I will be active on Twitter again from um
Soon.
October,
Yeah.
this October 2019. It's Just Beckford, so it's twitter.com/Just Beckford. On Instagram, it's Just Beckford. I'm constantly active on Instagram at the moment. That's my main point. So it's Just Beckford at on Twitter. And sorry, on Instagram, and my YouTube account is Just Beckford as well.
Just Beckford. JustBeckford. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're in the works at the moment, so we just got some of the last contents to put on our website, which will be justbeckford.co.uk as well.
Sick.
So, and that's going to be my main pipeline. So everything's going to go through my website
Yeah.
first before. So YouTube is not going to be the driving force of anything for me. I could use YouTube, Vimeo, and stuff
Right.
like that.
Right.
I want to control.
Yeah,
my-
yeah, yeah, of course.
Take back the control.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So how I engage with my audience or how I engage with people and have a personal touch with people. I want people to know that I'm human and human connect with humans. So yeah,
Absolutely, man. And that's what this is all about. That's what this is
100%.
all about. And I'm so grateful that you
I'm
were
s- Bro, I'm
open
so happy
today, man.
that
And
we've
it's
spoken.
just,
I'm
yeah,
here today.
it's incredible. And in the light of what the
Subject
Uber
of
guys
that.
did, I
Yeah.
think we should hug it out as well.
Yeah,
man.
we need to hug it out.